Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. A very warm welcome to one and all, graduates and guests, families and friends. It's another beautiful day in Victoria, and today, of course, is a special day, a day of celebration and a rite of passage. My name is Peter Dewick, and I'm the Director of Admissions and Registrar here at Royal Roads University. Those of us who work in my office are lucky. We were there at the beginning of your journey at Royal Roads, listening as many of you expressed doubts about your readiness to embark on this academic path, and watching as you gathered the determination to make it happen. Then we were there again, paying careful attention as you completed every step on the way, recording your every success. And now it's our pleasure to join you as you celebrate this accomplishment. What you have achieved is nothing short of amazing. Many of you have been balancing the demands of your educational experience alongside family responsibilities and career obligations. And that's never easy. The time has come to sit back, take a deep breath, and enjoy each moment as we celebrate you and the work you've now finished. Today marks the 35th convocation of Royal Roads University. We are so pleased you've been able to join us. Today is your celebration. Together, we look back with pride at what you've accomplished in this phase of your academic studies, and, just as importantly, we look ahead with hope, knowing you have plans to use your newly enriched potential to create positive change in the world around us. Before we begin, I have a few points to share with you. First, on your way into the theater, you should have received a convocation program. This includes the order of this afternoon's ceremony and the names of this spring's graduates. Second, in just a few moments, you will hear the strains of bagpipes announcing the academic procession of the platform party. I will ask you to rise just before the piper enters the theater. Meanwhile, please ensure all cell phones and other electronic devices are turned off for the duration of the ceremony. Also, we ask that you remain at your seat for the duration of the proceedings. Professional photographers are positioned to capture the moment your graduate crosses the stage. Please do not block the aisles, as our graduates will use these to access the stage. Thank you very much. And it seems they're ready to come, so ladies and gentlemen, please rise and remain at your seats for the procession of the academic platform party. Ladies and gentlemen, please join in the singing of our Canadian national anthem, led by Eve Richardson.
O Canada, our home and native land, true patriot long, in all thy sons' command, with glowing hearts we see thee rise, the true north strong and free. From far and wide, O Canada, we stand on guard for thee. God keep our land glorious and free. O Canada, we stand on guard for thee. O Canada, we stand on guard for thee.
Thank you, Eve. I'm now pleased to introduce to you Asma Nahai Antoine, our Manager of Indigenous Education and Student Services. Asma Nahai is here to provide us welcome on behalf of the Lekwungen families of Esquimalt and Songhees, on which Royal Road students work, study, and live. We are grateful to Asma Nahai for joining us today and thus reminding us of the rich heritage of human presence on these beautiful lands.
Thank you, Peter. Please be seated. In the spirit of the ancestors of the territory, Haitchka Siem, to President Cahoon, to Vice President Grundy, to Chancellor Strandlund, and my big congratulations to Dr. James Orbinski on your honorary degree today. It is so wonderful to be in a room filled with spirit, filled with joy, filled with pride. I did the welcome this morning and I had this speech written out and I stumbled over it. I feel as maybe the students did on their first day of school, heading back to class and being nervous and not sure what to expect. But once you get to the end, I'm sure it's just as joyful and pride and a little bit nervous. I know some students in our daughter, she graduated grade 12 this month. It's convocation month. It's been a busy month for myself. And at her convocation, the students were talking about tripping on stage and not getting across. I do not wish that for you today. I would like to begin the ceremony to acknowledge the traditional lands that we are on behalf of Chief Andy Thomas of Esquimalt Nation and Chief Ron Sam of Songhees Nation. They both send their regrets they could not be here today, but they are here in spirit, and they do send their congratulations to each of you. My name is Asma Nahai. It means caring for precious ones. I belong from the Tokart Nation on my mother's side of the New Channel Territory, and my last name, Antoine, comes from my father's side, which is Saikaz Nation of the Carrier Sekani Nation up north. And I'm married into the Notley-Witten family, along with my blended family, and have been residing here in Lekwungen Territory now for about 18 years. And I'm really, truly humbled and honored to call this place my home. The reason why I mention family lineage is, graduates, I want you to think inside your heart and your mind and in your spirit of your family lineage, of where you come from, because without them, whether of what they've done for you, what they haven't done for you, the whole reason of who you are today is because of them. And I want you in your hearts and your mind to give a shout out of gratitude for your family. Part of the journey over this last month is also having the opportunity to sit with our faculty and staff members, and we had a community connection event yesterday down at Snuckle, the Blue Heron House where I work. And you can hear faculty and staff just shine with pride in the amount of work that students have done over this last, whether it's over the last year or 2 years, but their stories and the energy that's felt around campus over this last week has been amazing. And students, I want you to take a moment to think about, in the tradition language that of the Lekwungen and Songhees people, is we raise our hands and we say, Haichka Siem, we raise our hands and say thank you for all the mentoring and the teachings that they have done. And in your language, when you raise your hands and say thank you, it's a sign of honor and respect. And the relationship you've built over these last couple of years with them have now, today is a turning point where they've been your mentor, they've been your teacher, and now have become your friends. I know it's very profound feeling when I think about a lot of the mentors I had during my studies and how they are still my dear, dear friends who I turn to for guidance and advice. So students, just take that moment throughout your day today to think about a lot of the faculty and staff who have guided you to where you are today. This morning, I had the opportunity to speak. We had eagle feathers. We had 3 deceased eagles in Snuckle to begin our year this year, and the opportunity with some members who were able to join me at that eagle workshop that was facilitated by a family member of mine. And in that eagle workshop, the purpose and intention, we were gathering up all the eagles through ceremony, the eagle feathers through ceremony. And as we were collecting them, they were for the intention for children who are Indigenous children who are in care, for the BC Association of Aboriginal Friendship Centers Gathering Our Voices conference. And in that, as we're taking those eagle feathers, and we gathered over 200 eagle feathers from 3 different eagles. And I just want to share with you some teachings about the eagle feather, because I have 2 here, 2 ties here, which were done by my sister Roberta Mason, who was kind enough to go and collect the cedar for me and then do the tying of the eagle feathers for me. So I just want to raise my hands and say Haichka Siem, Roberta, for doing that for me yesterday. The eagle, which is the highest bird that flies to our Creator, he's the one who brings the messages to our Creator. The eagle down is on the eagle, and it protects the eagle from, regulates the body temperature from cold and warm weather. And eagle down was laid on the stage this morning by Roberta and I. And again, thinking about reconciliation, what does it mean? This is it. This is how reconciliation works and begins. And it's to be in a group of working for a great organization who are open-minded and invite our culture and our ways of being into the things and work that I do, and I can live it every day, which is nice. So the eagle feather here, which is tied to cedar, and cedar here is traditional, and especially in our Nuu-chah-nulth background, my Nuu-chah-nulth background, is a way of cleansing. We bath in it, we hang it in our house, we put it underneath our mattresses, and it's a cleansing modality for our spirits. So I have 2 here. I have a smaller one, and because it's been Convocation Week, our daughter had the opportunity to listen to our graduation ceremonies back home. We couldn't go, unfortunately, due to the strike, but we were able to listen to it. And one of the teachings I would like to offer today to the graduates is our late Eileen Haggard from Chishot First Nations was in the education system, and she's passed. But one of the teachings they had talked about was the youngest person in the room, and I think there was a baby up here on the far right when I was walking in, but I'm thinking about, I would like to gift this to the youngest child that's in the room. And if you think you have the youngest child in the room, please see me after today's convocation, and this gift is to them. It's to honor and represent that they are the newborns, they're the new life, they're the ones who are going to be cleaning up after anything that we do. They're going to be following our footsteps, whether we like it or not, and with the intention of the work that we do throughout our lives is hopefully providing a great future for the next 7 generations. Now, this one here has 4 feathers and it's 4 cedar boughs together. And I would like to give this to, if you think you're the oldest member that's in this room, I would like to give this to them and honor them, to thank them for all the teachings they have provided throughout their whole entire life. And the 4 feathers will represent the 4 directions, and the 4 cedar boughs will represent the 4 directions. So please, after, come see me, because I have a gift for the youngest child, and I will provide you the teachings on how to take care of these 2 traditional medicines that will be gifted to you today. So again, I just want to raise my hands and say Haichka Siyam for allowing me to come and open up this afternoon's ceremony, and in my language, kleko, kleko. It's been a huge honor, and I'm feel really humbled to be here today. And congratulations to all our graduate students, especially we have 15 Indigenous and Métis students, and I'm so proud of each and every one of you. Haichka Siyam.
Haichka, thank you, Asmanahai. It's now my pleasure to introduce our academic platform party, and I'll ask each to rise briefly as I call out their names. Ladies and gentlemen, I begin with the newly installed Chancellor of Royal Roads University and Chair of the University's Board of Governors, Mr. Wayne Strandlund. The President and Vice Chancellor, Dr. Alan Cahoon. Honorary degree recipient, Dr. James Orbinski. The Vice President, Academic and Provost, Dr. Stephen Grundy. The Vice President and Chief Financial Officer, Mr. Dan Tulip. The Acting Vice President, Global Advancement, Marketing and Business Development, Dr. Pedro Marquez. The Dean of the Faculty of Social and Applied Sciences, Dr. Matthew Heinz. The Associate Vice President, Research and Faculty Affairs, Dr. Mary Bernard. The Associate Vice President, Community Relations and Advancement, Mr. Paul Corns. The Associate Vice President, Student and Academic Services, Ms. Roberta Mason. And we also have with us members of our Board of Governors, Ms. Kathleen Burney, the Honorable Mary Collins, Dr. Charles Kruzikoff, and Ms. Candace Perkins. Also with us today, of course, on this stage, are members of the university's faculty, and I ask them now to rise and be recognized.
Haichka. Welcome, everyone. Fellow governors, honored guests, mothers and fathers and friends, and our beloved graduates. I'm your newly anointed Chancellor. And what I've experienced lately, but particularly this morning, is so much thanks and so many congratulations, so much praise that is overwhelming. And I wish that feeling will stay with me for a long, long time. And it brought to mind a story, an incident that happened not long ago, and I thought I'd share it with you. It's not something that brings me down, but it reminds me of the cult of indifference. I was on Government Street not so long ago in my starched business suit and pressed suit, and I was reading a document prior to going into a law office. And it was very quiet on the street, and I was there more or less across from the bay. And a friend of mine, Fred, who's a homeless person, who I've known for years and years and years, someone who's a great fellow and educated and just a wonderful, wonderful man, a prince. And he's down on his luck, and he's been down on his luck for a long time. And he was across the street, or pardon me, against the building. I was on one of the seats on the sidewalk, and we were chatting and going over old stories. We go back maybe 30 years or so. And a group came by, coming from down from the Empress area, came by, didn't know me, but they all acknowledged me. And they said, "Good morning," looked at me, and I said, "Good morning," as if we knew each other and we were paying respect. Down they went a little further, and Fred was there, but sitting on the sidewalk leaning against the building. He said, "Good morning." He didn't ask for anything, but I think maybe they expected him to ask for something. He didn't. They said nothing. Nothing. I don't think they even looked at him. It just hurt. Can you imagine how he might have felt? I felt bad. But how might he have felt? I'm determined to do what I can to get rid of that cult of indifference. It's dangerous. And I'll tell you something else that I'm not proud of. When I was in my early 40s, somehow or other, I got the wild idea that if I practiced indifference, that I would be better at something, I would be cold, and I would be able to handle a lot of the things that were coming at me. I can be very emotional, and I thought I had to work at getting rid of that and being cold and being indifferent. So I actually practiced some of that indifference. And I did it for about 6 months. I tell you, it's bad news, and it's really painful. And some people practice that, or they appear to practice it, but God, students, graduates, don't do that. Don't do it. It's easy to say hello. It's easy to acknowledge something. And that story I thought I'd pass on to you because it means a lot to me. I don't want to go on as long as I did this morning at the installation because I want to have lots of time for the president to talk, to speak to you, and particularly James Orbinski. The honor that I feel being able to confer that honorary doctorate on such a grand person is something that I just hardly can explain. So I'm going to be brief. There's nothing that I can bring to the graduates in terms of their learning, their experiences in management and leadership. I have nothing that I can offer there, so I'm not going to dwell on that, and I'm sure the president will address more of that than I ever will. But I tried and tried, as I said to the convocation this morning, to think of something that I could bring to the graduates, something that they could take away and be proud of, and I would be proud of giving it to them. I could think of nothing, but in the early morning, I was up all night trying to think of what I could bring. And in the morning, it came to me. And it's the result of my experience in writing. I'm a graduate in writing. I've been writing all my life, trying to write the right things. I have studied different modes of writing, from the short story, the novel, the sonnet, the piece of journalism, the gospel, an epistle, a fable, an allegory. And the one I came up with this morning was one that's a little unusual for me, but it seemed appropriate, and it came to me without much warning, and I decided that's what I can do. It's a prayer. That's another form of communication. And I thought I would try it. So I put it together very quickly, without much prompting, no rewrite, because I wanted to feel it and to make sure it was fresh, and it's for our graduates. I don't write prayers every day, and I'm not a religious person, but I pray. And this is what I wrote for our beloved graduates. Bear with me. I pray that you will always wake up in your corner house at Crossroads Street, refreshed after dreaming up all the great questions. I pray that you will keep that fragile and sacred connection between your head and your heart always healthy and always prepared for the many fusions that will define your place and contribution to humanity. I pray that you will be moved again and again and again to tears, as I am, as you can see, and that you will know that there is no difference between exquisite joy and exquisite sorrow, and that you will keep your tears of exquisite joy and exquisite sorrow in a jar and pass this holy water to your children and your friends. I pray that you will live every minute not only as if it was your last, but as if life was just about to begin. I pray that you will dance with your feet never touching the ground, and you will have goosebumps on your arms and shoulders at the meeting of every challenge and every opportunity and every adventure and every stranger and every chance to fall madly in love. I pray that you will be moved and changed at every sunrise and every sunset. I pray that you will be forever worthy of your pain and your sorrow and suffering, worthy of it, and that when the time comes to present yourself, you will not have to stand in line, but will be guided to the very front as that special person, the special Royal Road scholar that you are, and that you will present yourself proudly and with dignity on your feet, shoulders back, eyes forward, chin up, and that you will be announced not as a noun nor an adjective, but as a verb. This is the wish of your old chancellor. God bless you. Thank you.
We acknowledge that we are on the traditional Coast Salish territory and also acknowledge the surrounding territories of the Songhees, Esquimalt, Beecher Bay, and Sauk First Nation. The land beneath Royal Roads University is known as Chichen-Itza, a Coast Salish name used to refer to a gathering place, used for gathering of herbs, for medicine, and a place devoted to community, a place to reflect on changes and community needs and aspirations. This afternoon, we have the privilege of bestowing our highest honor on an outstanding humanitarian, Dr. James Orbinski. We're also very pleased to recognize and confer degrees on Royal Roads University's first graduates in the Doctor of Social Science program. Royal Roads University was created to respond to the emerging needs of a changing world and workforce. with over 20,000 alumni in more than 60 countries, responding to the dominant challenges of our time. And after 19 years, we have proved the value of what, at the time, was an educational innovation in the post-secondary sector. As university graduates today, you enter a world that is marked by extraordinary social, economic, and geopolitical change. But amidst this change, one thing remains constant: the value of education and the experiences that you gained while here. You are well prepared to meet the challenges of an uncertain world. And your accomplishments here will be rewarded in countless ways over the course of your lives and your careers. Your education now gives you the skills and talents to be leaders and innovators in your chosen fields. Royal Roads has proudly established itself as a world-class post-secondary institution that provides options to learners that other more traditional universities cannot. We are being recognized internationally and at home as a leader in graduating critical thinkers, great leaders, and global citizens. We are creating an intergenerational and international learning environment that is producing global leaders as yourselves. In a recent article in Fast Company, 5 bold predictions were made for the future of education. First, that academic curricula will become multidisciplinary. In other words, the challenging questions of the day require a number of perspectives to address. Second, that educational leaders will need to balance new technologies with traditional learnings. MOOCs and online learning will not make face-to-face interactive learning obsolete and unnecessary. It will require a combination of different perspectives and technology to learn. Third, student recruitment and retention will be more important than ever, more competitive, more demanding of value and relevance. Fourth, the need to invest in technology to support tech-savvy students, to incorporate them in the classroom and ensure that they are secure and safe. And 5, to explore new funding models. Governments are moving to more performance-based funding. Entitled funding is being reduced, replaced with mandated, targeted funding. Well, we are there. That's what distinguishes Royal Roads University. We are an educational learning and teaching model that is interdisciplinary in scope, willing to accept and adapt new educational technologies to meet the changing needs of our students, offering demand-based education that is relevant to the changing world we face, that offers a variety of modalities for learning that support a variety of learner needs, with an educational philosophy that is demand-based and financially viable. Clark Kerr, writing about the history of universities in the 1960s, observed that the oldest European universities established during the Middle Ages were among the least changed institutions in all human experience. He meant this mostly as praise. Well, today the sector is under review, and institutions that are becoming increasingly resistant to change and slow-moving, at best, are floundering. Traditional, supply-driven, entitled institutions are under attack, challenged to become relevant, to become centers of learning for a 21st century. They need to embrace change. Change in the way they approach learning. There need to be more relevance in the marketplace. There need to earn support and investment from government and industry to address the mounting financial and sustainability pressures, to be held accountable for the outputs and their performance in the post-secondary education sector. The truth is that successful institutions must develop new strategies in order to continue to be dynamic and face the challenges and opportunities of the day. The common denominator is our students. What value do we offer? How well do we succeed? How do we prepare them for success, both personally and professionally, in their work and for their communities? It is a privilege to work at a publicly supported university. It is a privilege calling to be a teacher, to participate in the education and learning of our students. You can be proud of your association with Royal Roads. Our innovative and learning and teaching model is catching the attention of universities around the world who want to work with and learn from Royal Roads in order to produce the outstanding graduates that sit before me today. Graduates, you join a highly networked community of learners and leaders when you arrived at Royal Roads. Learning and the skill you acquire as part of education matter for BC, for Canada, and for the world. They result in higher productivity, innovation, labor market development, and overall economic growth. For the learners, they usually result in better wages, greater job satisfaction, greater self-esteem, improved health and quality of life. Learning, however, is not an endpoint. It is a continuous process that occurs through one's life. For the health of our society, it's become all the more critical in the face of increased globalization. A university education is a sure path to a rewarding career, not only for today's jobs, but for the jobs and careers that you will help create through your innovation, your creativity, and your perseverance. That's because a university degree is, and always has been, about more than providing you with specific skills for a specific job. A university education is about providing you with a deeper understanding of our world that prepares you for life. It is about giving you the critical thinking skills to challenge conventional wisdom and adapt quickly to changing circumstances. It's about opening up your world to new possibilities and new opportunities. It's about an approach to learning that will travel with you on your journey. By design, Royal Roads University is the only university in the province with a mandate specifically targeted to meet the BC's labor market needs, to fill its skills gap. Success, even with limited resources, is due to our choice to shift support to programs that are growing and healthy in areas of student and employer need, and away from those that are struggling or declining. As a result, Royal Roads has a market-responsive set of degree programs and certificates in fields that are represented in Convocation today. Royal Roads has always been a pioneer in implementing the extraordinary technological changes that are sweeping education today. We are pioneers in the use of the blended learning system, a combination of online and on-campus courses that maximizes the use of limited resources. We meet budget pressures because of outstanding staff and faculty who are passionate about what we do and why we do it. We have a unique institution, an institution-wide integrated learning and teaching model that guides our delivery and design of new programs. We are blessed in this province with a vibrant and diverse post-secondary system that shares a collective commitment to the development of the province. It is distinctive in the diversity of its institutions in terms of its focus, mandate, emphasis on teaching and research, and local and international responsiveness. Preparing for the knowledge-based economy that is critical to Canada's long-term growth rests with our colleges and universities. They are the necessary infrastructure required for a healthy and prosperous British Columbia. Royal Roads is earning its way and will continue to provide enormous value for the future of the people of BC and beyond. The world continues to change, and to remain relevant, we will need to change with it. We are building at Royal Roads the foundation to address the needs and commitments to global citizenship. As our knowledge of the world increases, so does our responsibility to make wise decisions with regard to wealth creation, justice, environment, and peace, among other considerations. Let's all be certain, no one possesses all the answers to the pressing issues of our time. The only certainty is that each of us is invested with responsibility to take action based on knowledge to allow for sustained progress. The vital connection between listening, learning, and leading sits at the very heart of our mandate. It is the connection that has brought us here today. to celebrate what has been accomplished, to rest for a moment before we continue to solve problems and create change and opportunity for our world. Today, we will graduate 776 students. 143 of those are from places other than Canada, including Bosnia, Bangladesh, China, Colombia, Ecuador, France, Germany, Great Britain, Hong Kong, India, Ireland, Israel, Japan, Kenya, Malawi, Mexico, Macau, Nigeria, Pakistan, Peru, the Republic of Korea, Sri Lanka, Taiwan, United Kingdom, United Arab Emirates, United States, and Yemen. Haichika, thank you.
Thank you, Mr. President. The Honorable Amrik Virk, Minister of Advanced Education, sends his regrets and asks me to pass along the following message as greetings from the Government of British Columbia. Dear friends, I would like to extend my warmest congratulations today to all who are participating in this special convocation. The new graduates of Royal Roads University are being celebrated and honored for their achievements. On this day, Mr. Wayne Strandlund is taking up his duties as Chancellor of Royal Roads University. Mr. Strandlund brings exceptional skills and abilities to his new position, which will contribute greatly to building on the reputation of the university as an innovative, world-renowned institution. As Royal Roads University confers the Doctor of Laws on Dr. James Orbinski, I would like to express my heartfelt congratulations to Dr. Orbinski, as your extraordinary contributions are honored and recognized. I wish all of you the best as you celebrate your achievements today and look to your future endeavors. The Honorable Amrik Virk, Minister of Higher Education.
It was my privilege to hear Dr. Orbinski speak at our reception at Royal Roads last night. And it was one of the most moving and accurate statements I've heard regarding Royal Roads. I'm very proud of it. We are pleased to confer the Honorary Doctor of Laws degree today. Dr. Robin Cox, will you please present the honorary degree candidate, Mr. James Orbinski.
It is my distinct pleasure and honor to present and introduce Dr. James Orbinski to you. He is helping shape a world that is more humane, fair, and just for all of us. He does so through his humanitarian and medical work that has spanned the globe in times of peace and conflict. James Orbinski's chosen career path follows his conviction that access to health care is fundamental to improving people's lives. After extensive field experience with Médecins Sans Frontières, Doctors Without Borders, he was elected international president in 1998 and has stayed there till 2001. He launched its Access to Essential Medicines campaign in 1998 and accepted the Nobel Peace Prize awarded to Médecins Sans Frontières in 1999 for its approach to medical humanitarianism. His work has taken him from South America to Africa, Russia, India, and Thailand. He has also represented Médecins Sans Frontières at the UN Security Council, in many national parliaments, and to the World Health Organization and the United Nations High Commissioner for Refugees. Dr. Orbinski co-chaired MSF's Neglected Diseases Working Group, which created and launched the Drugs for Neglected Diseases Initiative. This not-for-profit drug development organization develops medicine and other health technologies for diseases that are largely neglected by profit-driven research and development companies. He is also co-founder and board chair of Dignitas International, a hybrid academic non-governmental organization launched to research and conduct community-based prevention and treatment for people living with HIV/AIDS in the developing world. Dr. Orbinski brought an understanding of the realities of healthcare in times of conflict as the subject of the internationally acclaimed documentary film on medical humanitarianism, Triage, and to his award-winning book, An Imperfect Offering, Humanitarianism in the 21st Century. Closer to home, Dr. Orbinski is Research Chair in Global Health at the Basili School of International Affairs and Professor of International Policy and Governance at Wilfrid Laurier University. At the University of Toronto, he is full Professor of Medicine at the Dalla Lana School of Public Health and Senior Fellow at the Massey College and the Monk School of Global Affairs. Dr. Orbinski is a member of the Order of Ontario and an officer of the Order of Canada. For his leadership of Médecins Sans Frontières mission during Rwanda's genocide in 1994, he was awarded the Meritorious Service Cross, Canada's highest civilian award. For his undeniable contributions to humanitarian efforts and medical science, Royal Roads is honored to present James Orbinski for the honorary degree of laws.
Mr. James Orbinski, by virtue of the authority vested in me by the Royal Roads University Act, and in accordance with the recommendation of the Board of Governors of Royal Roads University, I confer upon you the degree of Doctor of Laws honoris causa, with all the rights, privileges, and honors here and elsewhere thereto appertaining. Dr. James Orbinski will now be hooded by Dr. Stephen Grundy, Vice President Academic and Provost. President Alan Cahoon will now present Dr. James Orbinski with his degree. Yes, you did. Thank you very much. You see what happens when you script? It is with great pleasure that I now call on Dr. Orbinski to deliver the convocation address, sir.
Thank you. Thank you. Well, thank you, Chancellor, and thank you, Robin, for a very, very kind introduction. And I have to say I'm absolutely proud and thrilled to accept this honorary doctorate. I'm honored to accept this from this truly path-breaking 21st century university, and also because it comes from the hands of your newly minted Chancellor. And I'm also thrilled because unlike the degrees that you will receive, mine actually was free. Now, you are mid-career graduates, and no, that doesn't mean that you're old, it just means that you're a little ripe. But in other words, it means too that you knew something before you got here, and you wanted to acquire a new and specific domain of knowledge skills that you have now all apparently mastered. Now, presumably, you've added these skills and this new knowledge to what you already knew. You are then, by definition, builders. You believe too in the future, and you are then also idealists. And you know and believe in the value of a good question, and you believe in pragmatic doing and in testing possible answers. And so you are pragmatic idealists, exactly my kind of people. And you also know that life is not simply additive or simply a matter of putting one brick on top of another. Or said another way, you know that the whole is in fact greater than the sum of its parts. Now today we celebrate your wonderful achievement, and an achievement that so much has gone into. So many second mortgages for some, and also we celebrate the fact that nobody arrived here alone, and nobody achieved this alone. So many colleagues, friends, and partners, so many parents, other family members, faculty members, and staff have supported you, encouraged you, and sometimes even held or even carried you through those crucial moments of doubt to what is celebrated here today. And what a wonderful day it is for all of you. It's a celebration of you, of each of the graduates, and of your communities that enabled, that nurtured, and that cultivated this achievement. And so you are pragmatic idealists in an enabling community. So what's next? What values should you now cultivate, and why? Well, my work over the last 25 years has meant practical, medical, humanitarian efforts aimed at the relief of suffering while supporting people's right to be agents in their own destiny. Compassion is a core value. It's a core starting point. But the question is this enough? Now, ours is a deeply imperfect world. Here in BC, you know only too well the steady march of, for example, the pine beetle and the devastating forest fires that are in its wake. And globally, drought, flooding, fire, and all manner of adverse weather events, these abound. And even the most stalwart of conservative thinking recognizes that something is seriously wrong. A recent editorial in the Financial Times dryly noted that, quote, simply letting, for example, climate change rip and tidying up the damage as it occurs is not an enviable strategy. And I'm still quoting, in poor countries, higher temperatures will mean an increased risk of hardship and societal collapse, and rich countries will be forced to respond. You know only too well that we are today in the midst of converging global crises in food, in fuel, in climate, in economy, and most especially in governance. Each of these crises have both local and global causes, are interdependent, and as we know all too clearly, have highly contagious global consequences. We are at a moment in our human history where we must fairly face the unavoidable complexity, interdependency, and fragility of our human condition. We've become our own geological epoch, the Anthropocene, where human pressures on the planet are at risk of triggering abrupt and irreversible and unpredictable changes with potentially catastrophic outcomes for human societies. We've already crossed 3 of 9 planetary boundaries, or tipping points, and we risk triggering nonlinear, abrupt environmental change within continental and planetary biospheric systems. We must recognize that our global context has fundamentally changed. As crises converge and ramify in unexpected ways, policy spheres can no longer be distinct. The microbiologist Louis Pasteur said 150 years ago that, quote, the microbe is nothing, its terrain everything. The implications of this rapidly changing terrain for human and for planetary health are staggering, to say the least. Now, yesterday, an order in council approved the Northern Gateway pipeline, and judging from the newspapers today, the battle lines have been drawn. And given the global challenges that we face today, Jared Diamond, academic, science writer, and author of the best-selling book, Blood, Germs, and Steel, has put the chance of human civilization surviving the 21st century at a mere 51%. Now, I have long believed that our greatest wealth as human beings is the degree to which we can be more humane, more fair, and more just to each other. And while I still hold this to be true, I know that if we are to succeed at all, indeed survive in this our 21st century, we need to cultivate wisdom. We need a genuine humility, and we need the courage to examine new thinking and new approaches to our place and to our role in our ecosphere. Now, when you started here at Royal Roads, you already knew that the world could be a tough place. And I knew that the world was a tough place when I returned to Rwanda in 1994. I was then Médecins Sans Frontières, or Doctors Without Borders, head of mission in Kigali, which is the country's capital city. And I was there as a humanitarian doctor. And it was a place with a very particular politics. It was the criminal politics of genocide. It was a brutal and horrible time. It was a place of rational and state-planned evil. Over 1 million people, virtually all of them Tutsis, were butchered to death in 14 short weeks. And bodies literally filled the streets of the capital city. And the gutters alongside a hospital that we managed to keep open, those gutters literally ran red with human blood. Now, throughout the country, over 1 million people died. And for years before the genocide, the French government trained and armed the Rwandan soldiers. And all the way through the genocide, the French government supplied them with arms, with mercenaries, and with military intelligence. Médecins Sans Frontières and other non-government organizations repeatedly called for UN intervention. But Belgium, France, and the United States paralyzed the United Nations, which abandoned General Dallaire and his 400 troops who were already in Rwanda. And this included his corps of Canadian officers, one of whom is here today, my friend Major Phil Lancaster. General Dallaire and his troops disobeyed orders to retreat, and they stayed voluntarily. And they found the courage to do what they knew they had to try to do. They knew that we had so much more to lose by failing to try than by trying and perhaps failing. They did this while France, while Belgium, and the United States actively and knowingly pursued their foreign policies through genocide. Now, how do you have hope in the face of genocide? How do you see possibility? Well, it does not lie in naive utopian dreams, but it lies in what we actually do. Now, Hannah Arendt was one of the greatest political theorists of the 20th century, and she was a Jew who, as a young woman, escaped the Nazi Reich in Germany to France, and then from a detention camp in France to New York. And she said that, quote, "The first political act is not to claim your rights. The first political act is not to claim protection under your constitution. The first political act is simply to speak." Now, many have described genocide and similar human cruelties as unspeakable, but these are as unspeakable as they are undoable. As human beings, we do genocide, and doctors cannot stop this crime. And we spoke with a clear intent to rouse the outrage of public consciousness around the world and to demand a politics that pursues justice by putting the dignity of the victim at its center. Now, 20 years ago, when the genocide ended, there was no such thing as an international criminal court. In 2002, the ICC came into being, and it has since issued many arrest warrants for alleged war criminals, and it has several significant convictions. It's also issued an arrest warrant for Mr. Omar al-Bashir, who is the president and now sitting head of state for Sudan. He's charged with intentionally directing attacks against civilians in Darfur, with pillage, with murder, with extermination, with forcible transfer of civilians, and with a range of other war crimes. The creation of the International Criminal Court is a seminal and imperfect human achievement. And now, for the first time in human history, those individuals who violate the laws of war can be held to account if their own governments fail to do so. Now, the ICC came into being because of the outrage of citizens like you and me who listened to what was spoken by organizations like Médecins Sans Frontières, Oxfam International, Amnesty International, and literally thousands and thousands of other smaller organizations in churches, in schools, in community clubs, and that met on university campuses like this Royal Roads University around the world. They organized wisely, bringing together academics, jurists, and some of the best political and legal minds in the world. They approached the problem with humility and focused their mind, their time, and their energy. And they applied rigorous analysis. They marshaled their courage to experiment with options. And they engaged in rigorous debate and policy analysis. And they explored alternatives in that messy and imperfect process that we call politics. All found the wisdom, the humility, and the courage to listen and to speak and to demand a better politics. And they sought out courageous politicians who came to the point where it was impossible to ignore the voice and the choice of citizens. Against all odds, against all naysayers, and against all pessimists, as human beings, we did invent the International Criminal Court. And even now, even with its current imperfections that must be corrected, including the fact that India, China, Russia, and the United States have not yet signed its statutes, even now, it is absolutely clear that no one, not even a sitting head of state, can claim to be above the law. Now, I've had many similar experiences that highlight similar values, experiences in war, in famine, with epidemics of neglected tropical diseases, and with pandemic diseases like HIV/AIDS. A few months ago, I was back in Malawi with Dignitas International, which, as Robin said, is an organization that I co-founded in 2004. It's focused on creating an alternative model of care for AIDS, for TB, and for care of non-communicable diseases using a primary health care model for people in the developing world. Now, 10 short years ago, when we started this organization from inside my hospital at the University of Toronto, entire villages in Malawi had collapsed in the despair and in the hopelessness of rampant disease. 90% of hospital admissions in Malawi were HIV positive, and people literally languished and died in the shade of trees around a hospital in the Zomba district where we started the organization. Since, Dignitas has tested more than 1 million people for HIV in Malawi, and we've started on the full treatment for AIDS, more than 200,000 people in Malawi. And we now have more than 200,000 people who every single month receive full active treatment for HIV in Malawi. We've pioneered new approaches to maternal child health, particularly as they pertain to HIV/AIDS. We've published what is recognized as some of the best HIV research in the world. And now, today, in Malawi, in the southern region particularly, villages are back at work, and people's primary concern, as it should be, is the education of their children. We're working with the University of Malawi, with the University of Toronto, Cape Town University, Médecins Sans Frontières, Partners in Health at Harvard, to research and develop simplified training and treatment algorithms for delivery of treatment by non-medical professionals like nurses, community healthcare workers, and others who may have as little as a grade 9 education. Now, as you well know, just because you're not educated does not mean you're not smart. With the right tools and with the right training, and we're training more than 500 people a year in Malawi, it is in fact possible to train non-medical people to diagnose, to treat, and to manage diseases like HIV, TB, and diabetes. And now, in partnership with the Cree Band Councils, with the Northern Ontario School of Medicine, with the University of Toronto and the Ontario Ministry of Health, Dignitas is also developing a program focused on Aboriginal health in Northern Ontario. Now, in the last 5 years, in Malawi, food shortages have become a serious and recurrent challenge. Riots across Malawi in 2011 left 18 people dead. Now, why is this happening? Well, the most immediate and proximate cause is the ongoing effects of the international financial crisis and the fluctuating but ever-increasing fuel and food commodity prices. But just behind this immediate proximate cause is the reality of what the United Nations Food and Agriculture Organization recognizes as a pattern of severe and prolonged droughts that could become permanent due to climate change. Now, elsewhere on the continent of Africa, in 2011, drought and famine in East Africa left 13 million people in need of food assistance. It also left 500,000 people dead. And the drought has been directly attributed to the effects of climate change. A mere 10 years from now, crop yields in some parts of Africa are expected to drop by 50%, and water stress could affect as many as 250 million Africans. And exactly the same process is true for Central America and for Southeast Asia. In North America, West Nile virus, never seen before the year 2000, has infected more than 21,000 people and has killed more than 800 Canadians and Americans. Our government, the Canadian government, has warned that our country might eventually experience yellow fever and malaria. Lyme disease has moved north up through the United States, and dengue fever is following, all because of climate change. And indeed, The Lancet, the world's premier and leading medical journal, has recognized that climate change is, quote, the greatest global health threat in the 21st century. We come full circle, ladies and gentlemen, when we realize that it is climate change that drives competition for access to water and arable land in Darfur, Sudan, and that today leads to war crimes, crimes against humanity, and slow-motion genocide. The October 2013 United Nations International Panel on Climate Change concluded that global warming is unequivocal and that human influence has been the dominant cause since the mid-20th century. This past December, Canada's first climate refugee claimant was refused refugee status, and this, as some island states of New Guinea have already been evacuated. And Pacific Island states are negotiating with other states on relocations and on land purchases. Much as we might hope, we know that good planets, even a bit damaged, are hard to find. There's no escape from our biosphere. It's the only place we live. And yet we're changing it so that it is unlivable for many, and especially those who are poorest and already most marginalized. As human beings, we need a new way of seeing, and from that, a new way of being. Not only are we the proverbial frog in the cooking pot, but we're also turning up the heat. While all is nature, even we humans, it is only humans that are knowingly changing the nature of nature. I said a few moments ago that if we're to succeed at all, indeed survive into the 21st century, we need wisdom. We need a new, genuine humility and the courage to examine new thinking and new approaches to our place and our roles in our ecosphere. We need a new way of seeing ourselves in relationship to each other, to other life forms, and to our shared place in our biosphere. This has much to do with humility. It means recognizing the other, seeing the sameness of self and the difference to self, and seeing and defining oneself in relationship to the other. It does not mean complete erasure or subordination of the self, but a recognition that, as the old African proverb goes, I am because we are. We need now to live this consciously in relationship to each other, to other life forms, and to our ecosphere. And we need to rediscover old forms and find new forms in language, in story, and culture to express this. In this morning's Globe and Mail, Jeffrey Simpson wrote that, quote, history, it is said, is just one damn thing after another. And so is the future. The difference being that with history, we sort of know what happened, whereas with the future, who can really know? Well, indeed, it's not that things don't always work out the way you want them to. We know that they never work out the way we want them to. As pragmatic idealists, you had some inkling of this when you started your degree, and now it's confirmed. And now you know more deeply why this is sometimes so. And most importantly, hopefully, you now know why values matter. I hope you know, too, that our greatest strength lies in compassion as our starting point. Our greatest strength lies, too, in seeking wisdom, in being humble, and in marshaling our courage, if only to simply try. And above all, remembering that tomorrow our children will know that I am because we are. They will know this because you know it today. I'm absolutely delighted to be part of the Royal Roads community. Congratulations to all of us on our graduation. Thank you.
Could I now ask the graduates to please rise for presentation to the Chancellor? Mr. Chancellor, I present to you this graduating class of Royal Roads University, on whom you have conferred the degrees, certificates, and diplomas to which they are entitled.
By virtue of the authority vested in me by the Board of Governors and on the recommendation of the Academic Council of the University, I have admitted each of you to the credential for which you are entitled. I have invested you with the due rights, privileges, and responsibilities thereto appertaining. May you always be mindful of the motto of our university, living our learning.
Please be seated. Mr. Chancellor and members of the Board of Governors, we will now present the graduates from their respective programs. I'd like to introduce Dr. Matthew Hines, Dean of the Faculty of Social and Applied Sciences.
Good afternoon. It is my distinct pleasure and honor to present to you today the first graduates of our Doctor of Social Sciences program. Verinder Kaur Bad completed her dissertation for the Doctor of Social Sciences under the supervision of Dr. Bernard Chisel, who escorted her up to the stage. Her dissertation title was "It is no accident that this is called an accident, vehicular negligence, a socio-legal study of crime, law, and public safety." Verinder is also recipient of the Royal Roads Staff-Sponsored Award, the Canadian Federation of University Women Victoria Award in honor of LCM Stapleford. Nicole Bourget. Nicole completed her dissertation under my supervision, and her title is the role of information and communication technology within Upriver Halkmelem language initiatives, a case study. Cheryl Ann Haycoop completed her dissertation, Our Stories Matter Our Own Way, the Safe and Meaningful Engagement of Young People in Post-Conflict Truth-Telling in Northern Uganda, under the supervision of Dr. Philip Cook, who walked her up to the stage. She's also the recipient of the Shirk Canada Graduate Scholarship in the doctoral Shirk Research for a Better Life Storytellers Challenge, the Shirk Michael Smith Foreign Studies Supplement, and the Royal Roads Sponsored Award. It is my honor to present to you today graduates from our Master of Arts in Conflict Analysis and Management program. Jacqueline Roberta Armour, recipient of the Shirk Canada Graduate Scholarship Masters. Peter Adrian Bihari. Christine Sabrina Burgess, recipient of the Shirk Canada Graduate Scholarship Masters. Lindsay Ann Dahl. Renee Menihar Drota. Chancelin Sarika Dividi. Caitlin Vanessa Grace Fulton, recipient of the Dr. Barry Maber Memorial Award. Robert John Gao. Leslie Ann Harder. Janine Ardell Harleton. Sam Jordy. Sheldon Keith Johnson. Derek Nicholas Koch, recipient of the Royal Roads University Entrance Award. Patrick Moreau. Michelle Ray Morrison. Rena Lynn Novotny. Teresa Sho Pham. Karen Diane Spears. Caitlin Elise Talley. Isabel Wagner. Brianne Kimberly Yaremko. Congratulations. I am honored to present to you today graduates from our Master of Arts in Disaster and Emergency Management program. Sean Douglas Corrigan. Elysia Coral Dempsey. Peter Michael Evans. Heidi Deanne Foley. Lisa Louise Hahn. Robert Andrew Manson. Dwayne Edward McDonald. Megan McLaughlin McKenzie. John Remillard. Mitchell Jeffrey Rumbold. Daniel Dale Beam. Congratulations. I am honored to present to you today graduates from our Master of Arts in Environment and Management program. Heather Kathleen Armstrong. Elizabeth Catherine Boychuk. Joanna Key Cheen. Betty Lou Hutchinson. Emily Ann Jobson. Ryan Akira Kadawaki. Susan Irene King. Sholene Corinne Lixta. Patricia Julianne Rokosh. Leanne D-League. Congratulations. I am honored to present to you today graduates from our Master of Arts in Environmental Education and Communication program. Susanna Eileen Bruno. Christina Rose Hatton. Burl Wade Jansen. Matthew Robert Kempshaw. Alida Elizabeth Kush. Roberta Laurie, recipient of the Shirk Canada Graduate Scholarship Masters and Shirk Research for a Better Life Storytellers Challenge. Dan Olson. Let me repeat that. Don Olson. Apologies. Heather Margaret Ramshaw. James Nicholas Quark. Congratulations. James is the recipient of the Chancellor's Award and the Founders Award. I am honored to present to you today graduates from our Master of Arts in Environmental Practice program. Julie Eleanor Newton-Hood. Amanda Leanna Marie Mitchell. Lana Charlene Van Veen. James Gordon Will. Congratulations. I am honored to present to you today graduates from our Master of Arts in Human Security and Peacebuilding program. Teom Harrison Abrams. Betty Ann Atherton. Robert James Warren Black. Andrew Eric Harris, recipient of the Irving K. Barber One World International Scholarship. Ryan Roy Mitchell. Elisa Santos Pacheco, recipient of the Chancellor's Award. James Patrick Zawadzki. Juanica Dennis Siremba. Kirsten Elizabeth Steinman. Emma Louise Swan, recipient of the Founders Award, the Sher Canada Graduate Scholarship Masters, the Canadian Federation of University Women Victoria Award in honor of LCM Stapleford, and the Royal Road Staff Sponsored Award. Brendan John Talon. Congratulations. I am honored to present to you today graduates from our Master of Arts in Interdisciplinary Studies program. Campbell Scott Cameron. Jennifer Eileen Chapman. Eva Marie Coles. Congratulations. I am honored to present to you today graduates from our Master of Arts in Leadership program. Lisa Elizabeth Arg. Suzanne Catherine Beaton. Patrick Joseph Blaze. Michael Victor Boranowski. Trevor Michael Bryce. Andrea Jennifer Burke. Paul Gordon Campo.
Hi, guys.
Delora Rose Clutchy. Derek J. Joseph Crew. Jacqueline Marie DeLiebeck. Catherine Lee Allison Donahoe. Nikki Eve Ebden. Alexandra Federucci. Brianna Lee Gibbon. Hans Erik Hager. Caitlin Jessica Hazard. Tammy Lee Hofer. Patricia Ann Hollier. Holly Michelle Jack, recipient of the TD Environmental Sustainability Scholarship and the BMO Bank of Montreal Scholarship for Single Parents. Gwendolyn Sierra Jolene Medeiros, recipient of the Founders Award. Erin Lynn Kelly. Mark Jeffrey Kemp. John Patrick Kovac. Felicia On Wing Lam. Brent Michael Lloyd. Kimberly J. Loeb. Sheena Maureen Marshall. Danielle Diane May Cuconato. Leslie Ann Miles. Erin Lynn Potts. Rebecca Allison Powell. Roxanne Monique Savatsky. Chad Christian Syrup. Kelly Krista Shaver Dugan. Tristan Todd Smith. Christy Florence Darling. Cindy Mary Ann Thompson. Tammy Christine Thornton. Kevin Lee Tompkins. Jamalia Duran Turner. Shelley Ann Valaire. Johanna Maria Vanderpool. Lynn Barbara Wark. Cheryl Mary Lou Watts. Lydia Maria Wesolowska. Charles Joseph Riley Webchar. Leah Grace Wojcik. Congratulations. I am honored to present to you today graduates from our Master of Arts in Leadership Health program. Christopher George McGregor. Nancy Deborah Mandaher. Lorna Jane Ross. Tara Naomi Timmers. Congratulations. I am honored to present to you today graduates from our Master of Arts in Learning and Technology program. Just one graduate. Allison Leah Hone. Congratulations. I am honored to present to you today graduates from our Master of Arts in Professional Communication program. One graduate. Judith Ann Monchuk. Congratulations. I'm honored to present to you today graduates from our Master of Science in Environment and Management program. Lisa Ann Christensen. Laura Kathleen Dilley. Christopher Carl Hauta. Leslie Ann Laura Stavrov. Courtney Brian White. Congratulations. I am honored to present to you today graduates from our Master of Science in Environmental Practice program. Sarah Cheng. Daniel Michael Dietrich. Bailey Lynn Depker. Amanda June Hansen. Nino Manuel Sampson. Jesse Joe Alves Santos. Congratulations. I am honored to present to you today graduates from our Bachelor of Arts in Justice Studies program. Sandra Lynn Arnold, recipient of the President's Scholar. I am honored, sorry, my apologies. Raman Bajwa. Lorraine Justina Burke. Ashley Suzanne Butterworth. Kathleen Ann Cormie. Sarah Mary Ann Elder. Nicole Lynn Forrest. Bridget Ann Hughes. Dominic Christian LaBelle. Laura Nicole Lowen, recipient of the President's Scholar. Kirsten Leanne Page. Marlene Heidemann. Kimberly Diane Payne. Vanessa Saskia Ramsdale. Joseph Raymond Riley. Pamela Estelle Rodamont, President's Scholar. Kimberly Ann Roche. Bradley James Shepard. Ansar Siddiqui. Amy Diane Vaness. Congratulations. I am honored to present to you today graduates from our Graduate Certificate in Professional Communication and Management program. Mary Beth Burton. Amy Leanne Dove. Pamela Gay O'Sullivan. Christopher Arthur Schuchuk. Congratulations. I am honored to present to you today graduates from our Graduate Certificate in Sustainable Community Development program. Sarah Margaret Collins. Milena Lisa Patinod, recipient of the Graham Dixon Leadership and Learning Award. Gabriela Beata Wickström. Congratulations to all graduates.
Well, this is pretty exciting. This is what it's all about. But let me suggest that convocation signals just one phase of your engagement with Royal Roads University. It also signals the beginning of a longer-term relationship, an association that will, I hope, make you as proud of your alma mater as we are as proud of you. So stay engaged. Engage in alumni events. Attend those or connect online. Know that we want to hear from you, and we want you to continue to feel like the connection and the help and assistance and engagement with Royal Roads. The connections you've made on campus with fellow students, with faculty, are not lost after graduation. Use these relationships as a foundation for whatever it is you choose to do next. You know, these are challenging times, so how do you demonstrate to others, as well as yourselves, the value of what you've learned and where you have learned it? What will you do differently? Well, we hope you make a difference. We hope you take the challenge that was given to us this afternoon by our honorary doctorate recipient. Work in your communities. Make a difference in those communities, in your work, in your professions, and within yourselves. We hope that you do keep in touch and you advise us when we're doing things well and when we need to improve. But I challenge you to think about what is the responsibility of acquiring knowledge. If no one knows that you've been here and learned these things, then I think it's a terrible waste. The value of the education comes from not what comes in, but what goes out. What do you do differently as the result of what you've learned? How do you make a difference? We'd ask you to use your reason, to be critical, to think and challenge ideas and convention, to make the world a better place. We were challenged to do that this afternoon. We would like you to take what you have learned and do something with that information, to use wisely the knowledge and skills you've acquired as you assume leadership roles in your communities and your chosen careers. Work with us as alumni, as colleagues, to keep Royal Roads innovative, relevant, and adding value to the people of British Columbia and beyond. Will the graduates please rise? I would like to ask your family, friends, faculty, and staff, and the university to join in applauding each of you on the completion of your programs. There's a lot of people who are proud of your accomplishments, but while the graduates are standing, I would like you to applaud your family, friends, faculty, and staff who've helped you along this way. Thank you. Please be seated.
I too would like to congratulate the graduates, and it's now my pleasure to introduce Dr. Nicole Bourget from the Doctor of Social Sciences program for the graduates' address.
Thank you. As an undergraduate student, I came across a quote attributed to Socrates. In Plato's Apology, we learn that the god of Delphi has identified Socrates as the wisest man. Plato tells us, however, that Socrates disagreed, and that Socrates actually believed that the god was saying that he is the wisest who, like Socrates, knows that wisdom is in truth worth nothing. I have long pondered this statement, never fully understanding it. But today, I believe that we who are graduating have caught just a glimpse of what Socrates meant. We are now able to see previously seemingly simple problems through multiple lenses that illuminate a depth and breadth of potential ideas and solutions. We have been given the gift of knowing that there is much that we do not understand and that there is great value in acknowledging that fact. It is this that leads us to the continued accumulation of knowledge. Knowledge, however, I believe, must be applied to be of value. During our time at Royal Roads, we have become skilled at using tools, techniques, and methodologies which allow us the opportunity to apply the knowledge. As a doctoral student, I learned how to select a research methodology, perform data analysis. My writing skills improved immensely, and I became immersed in my research topic and the related literature. As I grew academically, I began to apply the skills both consciously and subconsciously within my professional life. Additionally, I embarked on a personal journey that has led to a better understanding of who I am today. I would surmise that we all shared this or very similar experiences. Every application of knowledge, whether in an academic, professional, or personal way, is, for me, a successful use of my degree. But as already articulated, these successes are not mine alone. I, like you, was supported by friends, family, faculty, and staff, and they share in these successes. And so I offer a heartfelt thank you to all who have supported me. Today, we are celebrating the completion of our efforts here at Royal Roads. This celebration does not signal the end of our journey, but rather the beginning of the next stage of learning. Our acquisition does not stop with the degrees that we have been awarded. We will each continue in our own way to seek and apply knowledge. And as we leave here today, we need to consider how we will continue this journey. Congratulations to all. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, this completes the convocation and the great ceremony. I would like to take this opportunity to thank the many staff and faculty who have contributed to making this day successful. There are so many people that have guided us through, dressed us, shown us where to walk, what dots to stand on, and that sort of thing. There's a lot of work behind the scenes, and I'd like to thank them all. Thank you. Always in the wings, but always there. And to all our guests, thank you for sharing this special event with us, and it is special. Thank you. The formality of our proceedings demonstrates the importance that we attach to the traditions of higher learning. And we hope that the pomp and circumstance of this special event have contributed to making this day truly memorable for all of you. Thank you.
Please rise and remain standing at your seats until the academic platform party has exited the theater. And to our graduates again, we say congratulations. May you venture always to make a difference, to seek ways to inspire those around you, and to continue to excel in all you do.